Hi there, I'm Chef Bill. I'm a chef instructor at the Culinary Institute of America, and today we're going to talk about grilled vegetables. Grilled vegetables is something that everybody loves to eat, and the fact that they're nutritious is just icing on the cake. But imagine that you had to eat grilled vegetables day after day after day. Even something as delicious as grilled vegetables would get a little tiresome. So what I'd like to do as we head into the summer and as vegetables become more abundant is show you some flavoring techniques that you can use to change up grilled vegetables again and again and again. To begin with, I've got 2 plates of grilled vegetables. The first I'm going to make taste as though it comes from Greece. I'm going to take some feta cheese and just crumble that cheese over the vegetables. If you can do this while they're still warm from the grill, so much the better. I've got some dill. This could also be parsley and oregano. And I want to cut it into big pieces. You don't have to manicure it. Just cut it into big pieces. And take that and sprinkle it over the top. Already it smells like Greece. But we're not done yet. I want to season it with salt. I want to put some cracked pepper on there. Now we're going to squeeze on some lemon juice just to brighten this dish up. And then finally, and this I think is maybe the most important and the most exciting piece of this dish for me, get yourself a really good quality, punchy extra virgin olive oil that tastes like sunlight. And anoint these vegetables with a little bit of olive oil. And that dish is ready to go. Grill the vegetables, it takes you a minute and you're done. So for our next batch of grilled vegetables, we're going to take a trip to Italy. I'm going to put a salad on the top of these grilled vegetables that starts with what I call pulled parsley. You take curly parsley and you pull it into tufts of about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch. Now, parsley has a great flavor all on its own, but it's pretty assertive. So if we're going to dress this, we have to be aggressive with the seasoning. It's going to begin with some chopped garlic. I'm going to add some lemon juice. Don't be shy with the lemon juice. This should be really bright because it's flavoring not only this dish but the vegetables below. There is 1 or 2 pits here. We'll just take those out. And then the other piece of this dressing is going to be a punchy Tuscan extra virgin olive oil, something that's got some bite to it. Season that with salt. Season that with pepper. If you like the idea, pepper flakes could go in here as well. And then I'm going to add some shaved Parmesan. And before you add this, make sure that you taste it. It may surprise you how aggressive the seasoning needs to be so that the parsley doesn't seem awkward or overbearing. Anyhow, this tastes great. I'm going to make sure the vegetables below are seasoned. And then we're just going to take this salad and put it over the top. The great thing about grilled vegetables is that they are terrific at room temperature. The great thing about this salad is that once it's dressed, it holds really nicely for easily 1/2 hour or 45 minutes. So for our next variation on grilled vegetables, we'll visit a different region of Italy, northern Italy, where pesto is very, very popular. What I want to do is get some fresh mozzarella and just tuck it, nestle it in with the grilled vegetables. If they can still be a little bit warm, so much the better. And get them in here so that the cheese can soften up. And then I'm going to add some tomatoes to this plate, nice ripe tomatoes. I've got cherry tomatoes here. At different times of the year, you might reach for sun-dried tomatoes if the fresh tomatoes aren't as ripe as these. And I have a little bit of pesto that I made earlier. I'm going to turn this into pesto vinaigrette just by introducing a little bit more olive oil and a little bit of white wine vinegar. Okay, so we'll mix this up. Pesto, obviously, basil. It's Parmesan. It is nuts, usually pine nuts, and olive oil. And I'm going to take this vinaigrette. And you want it to be a consistency that will pour. And we're going to dress these vegetables and cheese so that it all tastes delicious. Just drizzle it over there. As soon as the pesto vinaigrette hits the hot vegetables, you can smell the wonderful sweet aroma of the basil. And if you like the idea, just a little bit more cheese over the top. This is grated Parmesan. And some freshly cracked black pepper. There's variation number 3. Okay, let's continue our trip around the Mediterranean. Now we're going to North Africa. In North Africa, they have a wonderful condiment called charmoula, which is basically a vinaigrette made with lemon juice, lots of parsley and cilantro, and some really interesting spices. So let me put it together first. I'm going to add to this parsley and cilantro olive oil, and then I'm going to squeeze in lemon juice. Now, in North Africa, they have a religious prohibition against the consumption of alcohol. And without alcohol, you don't have vinegar. So they need something else to make their food sour. And what they ordinarily choose to use is lemon juice, obviously. But lemons aren't available all year long. And so they also preserve lemons in salt. I have preserved lemons right here. I found them in a store. If you choose to use them, you use only the rind, rinse off the excess salt, and then chop the rind up and add them to the charmoula. The rest of this is pretty familiar ingredients. I've got chopped garlic, I've got cumin, I have paprika, and finally a little bit of cayenne. That's all there is to it, and we'll take these ingredients and stir them together. It should be a really chunky vinaigrette. I want it to be slightly moister, so in goes some more olive oil. I don't think it's going to need any pepper because there's cayenne in there. I don't think it'll need salt because I used the preserved lemons, which are preserved in salt. And so at this point, I think we're ready to go. This could be a marinade on your vegetables before they go on the grill, or once they come off the grill, you can take this mixture and just dab it onto your vegetables and let the heat of the vegetables sort of bring the flavors to life. You could even put this on the table and let people add it to their own taste. Gives you something to talk about at dinner. And then some olive oil, and our grilled vegetables with charmoula is all done. Okay, our last variation on grilled vegetables takes us a little bit away from the Mediterranean to France, but not the south of France where they use olive oil, but northern France where cream and butter is a little bit more popular. I'm going to show you a really interesting vinaigrette that starts with some heavy cream, and you put it into a bowl. Now we're going to flavor this heavy cream with mustard and tarragon, but first what I want to do is squeeze in some lemon juice. So what you'll discover is that the acidity of this lemon juice will begin to thicken the cream and give it some body so that it'll cling really nicely to these vegetables. I'm going to add some tarragon. Tarragon is a very powerful herb, so we don't want to overdo it. I'm going to stir that in there. Already you can see that this cream is beginning to thicken and coat the back of a spoon, just slightly. I'm going to flavor this also with some whole grain mustard. This could be Dijon mustard as well, but I like the looks of the whole mustard seeds in here. All right, so now we have the cream, and if you take a look, you can see it getting very, very thick. Just the same way when you introduce bacteria to milk and you create yogurt and it gets thick, the same thing is happening here with the acidity and the lemon juice working on the dairy. There's plenty of fat in cream, and so this tastes in a real way like a cream sauce or a vinaigrette. Right now we've got mustard, tarragon, lemon juice. I'm going to introduce a little bit of salt and pepper, and this is done. All right. Before I spoon it over the vegetables, I want to make sure they're seasoned as well. So we took a platter of grilled vegetables and took it on a trip around the Mediterranean, and here we are ending in northern France with a really wonderful creamy vinaigrette with tarragon and whole grain mustard. 5 variations on grilled vegetables, each one more delicious than the one before. So we took one batch of grilled vegetables and I offered up 5 very distinct variations. Here we have the vegetables that taste as though they came off the grill in Greece. Here's an Italian pulled parsley salad with Parmesan. Here, mozzarella cheese, pesto, and tomatoes. All the way over here, as though we were in North Africa, charmoula vinaigrette, and then finally, in northern France, a creamy mustard tarragon vinaigrette. You can take these ideas home and enjoy grilled vegetables every night of the week and never taste the same dish twice.